Hey guys, Fallen here, and today I'll be showing you a build that requires no class item exotics on Prismatic. And since it's been the new meta recently and stuff, I just wanted to make a whole build for people that don't have the class ability items from the new dungeon, or not new dungeon, the new exotic mission that came out, Dual Destiny. It's been out for a little bit. I know some people still don't have a second person to do this with, and that's pretty unfortunate. But if you don't have a second person to do this with, or if you're just looking around for some fun to use a live handshake for as an excuse, like I am, this video is here for you. So I was just messing around, and I noticed that a lot of people don't have class item exotics a lot, and it's kind of unfortunate. It seems that not a lot of people have a second person to play around. And I was the same for that recently. I was very much the same for that 2 years ago. I didn't really have a lot of friends that played this game, or just really any friends in general. But if you guys ever feel nervous or anything about doing an LFG, sometimes you'll just have to look around and just get lucky. Sometimes you'll get unlucky. But sometimes you'll just have to make an LFG post and just be like, I'm new to doing Salvation's Edge or whatever, or I'm new to doing this. And that's really cool. And honestly, if you want to just do your own thing, that's very much awesome. I don't disrespect anything what you have to do at all. I was very much the same way. I used to try and see if I could beat Vault of Glass. I never did it before 2 years ago, which is pretty crazy. And I actually got pretty far in the game without doing ever a single raid. I was actually pretty happy about that. But anyways, let's get into the main part of this video, and that is the whole build crafting and all this stuff. And I just want to let you know I have a Twitch, and the link will be in the description, as well as a dim build for this. So now let's get into the first section of this video, which is the subclass. And yeah, let's get into the subclass. Build first thing we'll be using is, in my opinion, I'm using the Void Super Shadow Shot Deadfall, because this is a really easy way to bring all the targets together and then punch them individually. If you want to, you can use Silence and Squall. That's a good super. Honestly, any super I really recommend besides Golden Gun, because Golden Gun doesn't really have anything useful in this scenario, but it's still good. I highly recommend using whatever super you want. But if you want the most like AoE and just going for everyone, then I recommend going with Shadow Shot. Then for abilities, we'll be going with the Gambler's Dodge to get back our melee back faster. And we'll be using the combination blow to combine the two together, and this makes a really easy combo and just a fluid motion together, where we punch someone, dodge, and then we get it back instantly. I was using the grapple grenade for this as an easy way to move around and just do extra damage, but it doesn't proc with Liar's Handshake at all. So if you really want to, you can use Dustfield grenades to slow down targets, so then you can hit them more individually. But if you want movement, I suggest using a grapple. Now for aspects, I went with the Winter Shroud, because since we're going to be dodging so much of the time, this is going to be becoming a huge play, and just dodging back and forth, getting constant combos or whatever and whatnot. And Winter Shroud is really useful for this situation, as the next aspect will be using the Stylish Executioner, since we'll be constantly causing a slow debuff and a jolt debuff all the time. Stylish Executioner is going to come in super handy, and this is going to absolutely demolish. Absolutely just increase our melee attack, since we're invisible, and it's going to be way more powerful, and we're going to do a lot more damage. Now for fragments, I went with Fast of Dawn, so that we get Radiant. Radiant increases our weapon damage, and it just helps you do increased damage. It's just really good. I like using it all the time, and it's really good. It's really useful. I love it. Then we're using Faceted Protection. This reduces our damage when we're surrounded, and when we're Transcendent, we are a lot more stronger. This whole build, by the way, is going to be surrounding towards getting melee, using our melee to get back our Transcendence up, and then using our Transcendence constantly and consistently. Then we'll have Faceted Sacrifice, which allows us to get more Darkness Transcendence energy, because since we're doing so much arc damage with our combination blow melee, we'll be needing more Darkness energy off. So this is going to be an easy way to combo the two together. Then we'll be using Faceted Blessing, so that our melee kills will give us health regen, and this is really useful towards big adds. So if we kill one, we can just immediately health regen and then move on and keep going. Then we'll be using for our last one, it's just Facet of Courage, which increases our damage against Darkness debuffs. Since we'll be slowing and freezing people all the time, this is going to enhance our melee even more now, and this includes the Liar's melee, which is a different kind of melee. It does still do arc damage, which is really nice, and this is going to be really effective for us. Now getting into the mods, we'll be using the hands-on, since we'll be constantly doing melee damage at all times. This is really useful for whatever. And I went with Kinetic Siphon mod. You don't have to use really any Siphon mods. If you really want to, you could honestly just run 2 hands-on. Or if you want to, you can run a Powerful Friends, Radiant Light, anything honestly. Only thing I just say is that if you had hands-on mod, it's really powerful because you're going to gain back your super constantly, and this helps you transcendence up too, since you have tether on, at least from what I'm using. Then we'll be using for our melee, we'll be using our heavy-handed and our heavy-handed focusing strike and impact conduction. These just combo with each other really well, and it's really fluid, and I highly recommend it. This is, you can always change out impact, you can always change out focusing strike if you want to, but actually focusing strike is useless, I just realized that, that's kind of my mistake. But I just put 2 impact reduction mods on, and you'll be constantly getting back your melee. Constantly getting your grenade, and you don't really need to worry about your dodge because you're going to be constantly getting your dodge back from getting melee kills. Then for a chest piece, this is really an anywhere scenario. I have kinetic reserves because I'm using a 1-2 punch shoddy, and it's really useful. And then just resist mods, that's what I went with. And then for legs, 1 recuperation mod since we're creating so many orbs, and then 2 absolution mods to reduce all of our cooldowns for everything. And then for our class item, I went with special finisher so that we can get more 1-2 punch shiny ammo when we run out of it if we get 3 stacks. Then we have distribution on so that we reduce all ability cooldowns when using our class near enemies. And then Reaper is the same thing. It basically has distribution, except that we'll get orbs from it, and then it'll combo into the legs to give us healing and damage resist, or damage cooldown. Alright, for our weapons, I don't really recommend anything for weapons wise. I just would use Wastelander. This is one of the best 1-punch shotties in the game, just in general, because you can usually use something in the secondary column. What makes Wastelander so powerful is because you can run Slide Shot 1-2 punch at the same time, which is really fun. And I use it for both PvP and PvE. It's just a really fun weapon in general. And having level 58 on it, it just shows that this is one of my favorite shotguns to use of all time, and I highly recommend it. Now for secondary weapon, I didn't really think of anything you could use with the secondary weapon. I thought that the Shadow Price would be pretty good, as you can run with one for all. And if let's say you're going a little bit distance-wise and you just want to go change something else, then I recommend using it for that. And this is actually, I've been messing around with it, and it's actually a pretty fun weapon. I really recommend using Shadow Price if you really just want to mess around a little bit. It's not the greatest weapon there is, but it's a really fun one if you know how to use it right. It's not really, well, I apologize to me for saying using it right. It's not really using it. It's kind of just an auto rifle, so it's still a really fun one. I really like using it a lot. It's one of my favorites there is in the game. It's just a shame it didn't really get the best rolls. But for a heavy weapon, I don't really have anything to recommend for a heavy weapon. I like using my other half. And if you want to, you can use the Edge Transit, Correct's Termination, Gallahorn, really anything. I don't have any recommendations for that whatsoever. And just one more thing, if you don't have, let's say you have Liar's Handshake, but you don't like it, and you have something else, you can use a class item. I don't have the specific role, but one role you can get, I know for a fact, is a Spirit of Caliban and Spirit of Liar, and that's better than the normal Liar's Handshake. So if you have that, that's really useful, and I probably recommend using it over this. But let's say if you haven't ever done Dual Destiny before or anything like that, then I don't recommend it. So just use Liar's Handshake and anything. If you want to ever figure out how to do Dual Destiny, there's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube. May even do one eventually if I feel like it. I don't know. I don't really want to copy other people's content that's already been done over and over. But that's just how I like doing it. That's just what I recommend. It's honestly your choice. I don't really care what you guys choose. As long as you like it, that's how it goes. That's what I think. Alright, so now that you understand the whole basis of the build, I just want to talk about a little bit about the gameplay loop, and that's just basically just doing your dodge and melee consistently over and over next to enemies. Now, if you don't do this in your enemies, you won't get back the same combo strength that you'll get normally, and it's a little unfortunate with that. So you just as long as you're around enemies, you'll stay alive. You'll stay alive. If you're in a scenario where you're gonna get one shot by something guaranteed, then this is where it gets a little risky, and you just gotta be a little careful about it. But this thing could be used to solo content. I love this build highly, and just want to say that if you have a class item, exotic, or anything like that, and you have something that has Spirit of the Liar on it, Spirit of Immos Light, I believe you can get on it, that's a really good roll, and I highly recommend using something like that if you can obtain that. If you don't have something like that, if you have never done the Dual Destiny mission, then that's unfortunate. But, you know, there's always a chance to learn from someone else by just deciding to do Fireteam Finder one day, and that's what I did, and I learned how to do that, and I made some friends along the way. So if you ever feel nervous and you just ever feel like you can't do something, or you just feel like you're gonna mess up and they're gonna kick you or something, don't worry. I've always felt the same too about something. I've always looked at a guide or something. I've always looked at something before I fully committed to something, or if I didn't want to look at a guide and just want to learn straight on the own, then I just looked at Fireteam Finder, seeing if anyone was teaching anything. If nobody wasn't, I decided, I was like, oh, I'll just make one of my own, figure it out. I've never done it before, and just like oh, I've never done this before. Do you mind if you teach me how to do it? That's just all I did. If you're ever having a struggle like that, I understand that it's a big struggle in Destiny, as there's a lot of solo players in this game, and not enough of them can stick together, you know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you can enjoy, check out my Discord, or not Discord. I do have a Discord as well. That's on my homepage of my YouTube, and I have a Twitch, and that will be in the link in the description. So will be a dim for this build, and it's really fun. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure you guys check out my channel. And see ya.